Hi, welcome to Pico Playtime, the video series where I play through some cool Pico 8 games that I found, kind of share my thoughts, give a little kind of mini review of the game and a kind of show you a kind of playthrough. And yeah, you know the score by now if you've seen any of the videos before. So today's video, or today's game that we're going to look at is called Masters of the Universe, and it is by a developer called the RoboZ. I hope it's meant to be that and not the Robo Z. Being in the UK, I see a Z and I say Z. I've had a look at Robo Z's Twitter, and he does have an Italian name, but I do not want to try and attempt to pronounce that and just make a fool of myself. So yeah, I'm going to be calling the developer Robo Z. One of the games that came before Masters of the Universe, which is what kind of put this game onto my radar, was the game Mortal Cards. Or I think was it called Mortal Card or Mortal Cards? That was made for the Random Game Jam back in May, I believe it was, which was a game jam I took part in. And I was watching this game as it was being developed over the kind of 2 weeks. It was a kind of card game with... Well, it's you had card game mechanics alongside Mortal Kombat graphics. So you had kind of Scorpion and Liu Kang and Raiden fighting, but the moves that you lined up were based on selecting from cards. And it was a really cool game, really imaginative kind of game mechanics, and it had a kind of cool kind of paper, scissors, rock dynamic in the combat system. So I'm not entirely sure how it worked, but you had something along the lines of like a punch would beat a kick and a kick would beat something else, and you had your three attacks, which were like kick, block, kick. I said kick, kick, block, punch. I think there was like a do nothing card as well. Anyway, this Masters of the Universe game is kind of, well, if I just have a look at the Pico 8 page, I can describe it exactly. If I find the relevant section that I'm interested in. No, I can't find it. Oh no, other page. So like I say, it started off kind of springing out of this Mortal Cards kind of game. So the way that the graphics are set up in Masters of the Universe is similar to how Mortal Cards work, and the combat system feels a little bit similar as well, but it's been heavily changed and heavily developed. It's been working. RoboZ has been working on this game for well, it looks like a couple of months at least. So it's had a lot of work put into it, and it shows. The main thing that I wanted to highlight in this game were the graphics. The graphics in this game are outstanding, and I will be very shortly showing you some of those graphics and hopefully playing through the game. And let me see if I can find where it says how he developed it. Yeah, he was wanting to experiment, expand upon the sprite techniques that he sort of came up with for Mortal Card. Basically, you've got, if you look in the cart, each kind of character is a kind of, I think most of them are like a kind of clever palette swap of each other. So if you think about in Mortal Kombat, you've got Reptile, Scorpion and Sub-Zero. They're all just palette swaps of the same base character. And it's kind of doing that, but taking it to the next level and creating all of the characters from this kind of basic kind of template, if you like. And the size of the characters, the sprites are very big, and to fit all of the graphics inside of Pico 8 meant that each character had to be kind of split up into kind of sections, so that when a character performs like a certain move, like a chop or a kick, you're not changing every single part of that sprite. It's, without getting too much into it, it's very clever the way that the game was programmed and set up, and with the backgrounds as well. If you look at the backgrounds in the game, they are huge. They fill the entire screen, and Pico 8 does not have space for such huge backgrounds without some clever programming trickery. So this is why I want to have a look at this game. Anyway, I really don't want to start playing this game. I've been talking for too long. Before we do start though, as usual, my videos are pointlessly and unofficially brought to you by today it's Monster Energy Drink. This is Lewis Hamilton flavour Monster Energy Drink. Each Monster energy drink has a little paragraph on the side explaining their philosophy behind this energy drink. When your 3-time F1 world champion Lewis Hamilton life moves at 15,000 RPM and 200 miles per hour. I think we all identify with that. A man who exists in a world of milliseconds demands a drink that can keep up. When we partnered with Lewis to create 44, so it's called 44 this apparently, our R&D team, who knew Monster Energy Drink had an R&D team, worked flat out, see what they did there, flat out, to engineer the quickest Monster ever. Light, crisp and refreshing. With a fast finish, it gets you out front and pulling away. So let's see what Lewis Hamilton tastes like. Wow, it's incredibly sweet. It's kind of cherry-ish. I won't call it light, crisp and refreshing, but it's certainly a flavour. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's load up this game. So as you can see, there's a link on to the itch page for this game. I'm using Splore in Pico 8. Here we are, MOTU, Masters of the Universe, if you're looking for it and it's not called that. There you go, MOTU by the RoboZ. Let's run the game. The music in this game is outstanding. The music was made by several people, I believe. Let's have a look. We've got... yeah, 3 people are credited for music, so that's nice to see, a bit of collaboration there. Here's the main theme there. When you win each match, this little kind of theme comes back, so that really ties everything together in a nice way. Check out those graphics though. Look at the size of that background. Very clever how this was created. I would be very interested to know exactly how it worked, but I haven't got time to go into that now. You've got 3 modes in the game. You've got a 2-player mode, which you do not see very often at all in Pico 8, so play it with a friend. You've got player 1 versus CPU. That's kind of like a I suppose you could call it maybe a practice mode. You can pick your character and you can also pick the CPU character you play against. And the mode that I'm going to be showing you is arcade mode, where you fight through 8 fights to decide the fate of Eternia. Now, I am not a big expert on He-Man. I was always more of a Thundercats kid, so I don't really know a lot about He-Man unfortunately, but I do enjoy this game. The graphics, the character animations are delightful, and let's see some gameplay. You can see at the bottom of the screen we've got a few credits and things there. So yeah, it's a cool game this. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can get through arcade mode. So, there are, what is it, 16 characters? There are a lot of characters in this game, and as you can probably see, there is some kind of clever palette swapping going on. Each character is kind of made up from, you can kind of see the kind of building blocks. Like all the male characters all have the kind of same kind of legs and arms, but the detail and the different variety of graphics in there, it's just incredible. You could fit this into a Pico 8 cartridge. Anyway, I don't know any of these characters unfortunately, so I'm just going to go with He-Man. And you fight 8 characters. Each character, the AI gets a little bit more challenging. And obviously the end boss, if you're playing as He-Man, is going to be Skeletor. If you pick one of the evil characters, so if I'm on Faker here, then I think the end boss in that case would be He-Man. So you kind of got a good versus evil, 2 sides. Again, all this is in a Pico 8 cartridge. Phenomenal. Anyway, let's see how well I can do some chopping. So, looks like I restarted there. Right, here we go. So, the way this game works, the game's described as being a kind of demake or a kind of readaptation or port, if you like, of the classic beat 'em up game Barbarian, which was a kind of hack and slash game, very similar to this. Now, the way the attacks work is quite different from how attacks work in most kind of beat 'em ups you might play, like thinking like Street Fighter kind of games. Because I'll get to that. Because Pico 8's only got 2 buttons on its controller, you really haven't got that many options. It's not like on, you know, most kind of arcade style beat 'em ups where you've got 6, you know, usually 6 buttons for, you know, 3 kick buttons, 3 punch buttons. We only got 2. So all the different moves are performed by holding, well, you can just chop just by pressing the X button, but all the attacks are performed by holding one attack button and then pressing the arrow keys. So I'm holding the, well, X button on my PlayStation controller, and pressing up does the overhead chop, pressing forward does that kind of mid-level kind of neck chop, back does the rather cool sword spin, which is a kind of defensive move, and down gives us this low-level chop. So all the different moves are performed by holding a key and then pressing an arrow key. So you've either got the ability to move or the ability to attack. So it's interesting. It's kind of like stance-based. That's the best way I can think to describe it. But yeah, there's so many. I mean, all the characters have the same moves, so there isn't kind of a. Well, I don't think there's any difference between how the characters play. It's purely for appearances, but that's fine in a game like this. I don't have a problem with that. Now, you may have noticed that first match that I won, just like that, I won by chopping the opponent's head off. I believe this is a move that has been lifted from the Barbarian original. Like I say, I haven't played Barbarian, unfortunately. I'm mainly familiar with Barbarian because of the notorious box art. If you're in the UK, you might recognise Wolf from Gladiators on the box art for Barbarian with a stood next to a page 3 model. It's just search for. You can pause the video and do it now. You need this in your life. Search for Barbarian box art. You will not regret it. It is the most metal thing ever. Anyway, the flying neck chop. This is probably my favourite part of this game. It's a beat 'em up. You've got a sword. You can just win the game by just chopping the other guy's head off. Which, you know, for a game based on the He-Man kind of franchise, quite realistic really. If you chop someone's head off, that sword fight's going to be over pretty quick. Now, the developer says that they've kind of toned down the overpowered nature of the flying neck chop, but it's still a pretty powerful move. But I don't mind it because your kind of battles do become a case of, well, trying to maneuver the enemy, time it just right, just to chop that guy's head off. The way of thinking about it is, it's like if you could play Mortal Kombat, but you could just perform a fatality at any point in the match. I think that'd make Mortal Kombat quite a bit more exciting, I think. And you can see there, He-Man was nearly dead, but then whack! Chop the other guy's head off, winner. So yeah, I really don't know many of the characters in He-Man. I mean, this guy looks a bit like Wonder Woman in drag, so sorry Jitsu, but that's just what you look like to me. I'm not very good at beat 'em ups in general, so I am doing a lot of button bashing. It's a little bit of a cheap win that maybe, chopping head off, but yeah, I don't care. Yeah, I'm not very good at beat 'em up, so there is a little bit of a button bashing element to kind of win if you're not very good, but the game doesn't punish you for that too much, which is nice. The animation in this game is top notch. I love some of the little moves that you can do, like the kind of push kick there, which he does. Obviously the the decapitation. Great stuff. Right, I believe we're on the last level here now, so Skeletor versus He-Man, the classic bout. Was nearly over very quickly there, but Skeletor managed to block my flying neck chop. So, I think there's quite a lot of nuance in the combat system, despite the flying neck chop being so, as you can see, so good. There is a lot of nuance, I think, in the combat, and it's really fun. Anyway, that's my playthrough of Masters of the Universe. I would highly recommend you check out this game. The graphics in it are beautiful for a Pico 8 game. There's so many characters you can play. The programming kind of wizardry required to get all of these graphics into one Pico 8 cart is astounding. So if you're interested in that side of Pico 8, definitely check out this game, and just look at how he's coded it, because it's beyond me. The gameplay itself, you've got fun kind of hack and slash beat 'em up combat. The controls are quite deep for what you see in most Pico 8 games. There is quite a little bit to learn in the way the combat works. I'd love to play this as a 2-player game. There is that option, so I think it'd make a really good 2-player game, this. As you can see, it's pretty badass when you win. Eternia is saved, you have the power, so yeah, that's always cool as well. Lovely music that really kind of sets the kind of fun tone for the game, and it's based on a classic beat 'em up in the form of Barbarian. So many reasons to recommend this game. Like how I recommend Lewis Hamilton Monster Energy drink, which, what is that? It tastes of something. It's very sweet. Smooth transition there. So yeah, I would highly recommend you check out this game. The link to the itch page is down below. I would suggest you also check out the Pico 8 BBS forum post for the game, because the developer explains the controls on there and goes into a little bit of detail about the development of the game, which is interesting if you like that sort of thing. So yeah, plenty of links to check out. And if you have time as well, check out Mortal Cards. It's kind of, I feel like it's kind of like a prototype for this. Quite a different game, but there's a lot of sort of interesting similarities, which you might want to see for yourself. So yeah, don't have really much more to say about the game. It's Masters of the Universe by the RoboZ, with music by, let's credit people because I can find where they are. Music by Damien Hostin, Matt Kimball, and Jeff Sejai Smith. And yeah, original artworks and idea by John Henderson. I take it John Henderson. And programming and graphics by, I'm going to try it, please forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, Andrea Baldiraghi? I have no idea how to pronounce that, I'm really sorry. Yeah, check this game out, it deserves your attention. And that's basically it for the video. I hope you enjoyed watching me embarrass myself with my lack of beat 'em up skill. I hope you enjoyed all of the head chops. And I hope you enjoyed the lovely push kicks to the groin, which He-Man is so famous for. All your favourite He-Man and She-Ra characters are in this game, so check it out, and you have the power. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to be posting some more of these videos. I'm trying to get a video out every Friday, so if you're enjoying the series, check back later on, and hopefully I'll be playing some more games. But for now, thank you once more for watching the video. Check out Masters of the Universe by Andrea Baldiraghi, the RoboZ. Check it out. It's a cool game. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.